Coming up on AC 24/7, the Biden administration plans on attacking inflation head-on. We have the details on what that may look like. Plus, the Mississippi River levels are nearing an all-time low. What this means for some residents of the New Orleans area. And Kanye West loses yet another endorsement. This as tech giant Apple has parted ways with the star. Welcome to AC 24/7. I'm Rachel Smith, in today for Stephen Walker. Well, inflation is causing a lot of change in Washington, D.C. President Biden has announced plans that his administration plans on taking to help Americans struggling with the rising costs. The Advocate Channel's Chris Wynn breaks it all down.
Today, my administration is announcing new actions to lower the cost of everyday living for American families, to put more money in the pockets of middle income and working class Americans, to hold big corporations accountable.
The Biden administration is now taking action across agencies to help cut down on so-called junk fees, defining them as designed either to confuse or deceive consumers or to take advantage of lock-in or other forms of situational market power.
These are junk fees. They're unfair and they hit marginalized Americans the hardest, especially low-income folks.
According to officials with the National Economic Council, the fees fall into 4 categories: mandatory fees that often hide the full price, surprise fees that consumers learn after purchase, exploitative or predatory fees, and fraudulent fees. The White House points to hidden charges and added fees on airline tickets, hotel bookings, and cable bills. And the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is issuing guidance on some banking fees.
We're taking enforcement actions, like one against a large bank for charging illegal overdraft fees, and customers will see hundreds of millions of dollars in refunds.
The new rulemaking process aims to make fees more transparent and comes with the midterms less than 2 weeks away.
This is an attempt to tell voters that they are trying to ease the pains of the pocketbook, because that's what Republicans have said over and over again.
In other news today, the Mississippi River water level has now plummeted to a near record low. Levels in New Orleans are measuring at just 3 feet above sea level, putting it at near historical levels. Now, with the sea level dropping, a saltwater ledge has now crept upriver. With little or no rain coming from the Midwest, the Mississippi water supply is threatened with the biggest impact so far, affecting nearly 20,000 people. And a drinking water advisory has been declared, as well as a state of emergency. Well, Prince Harry has just released new details about his much-talked-about upcoming memoir. The book, titled Spare, in a nod to his nickname, is set to be published next January. Penguin Random House says it's glad Harry gets to tell his side of the story in a book that takes readers to a place of, quote, 2 princes walking behind their mother's coffin as a world watched in sorrow and horror. Proceeds from the book are planned to be spread out among several charities. Well, cannabis consumers are in for a treat as Germany plans on joining Thailand and Canada by legalizing marijuana. The German government is looking to legalize recreational cannabis for adults, allowing them to possess up to 30 grams legally. The legislation would also allow users to grow limited amounts for licensed specialist shops. Germany's health minister says there will still be many hurdles and the EU law has to take action before anything is decided. Well, popular spring break destination Miami Beach has just announced a ban on hair discrimination. The Miami Beach City Commission ruled unanimously to prohibit discriminatory practices based on, quote, the texture or style of a person's hair. And that extends to employment, housing, public services, funding, or any use of city facilities. The city already prohibits discrimination on the basis of various other characteristics, including height and weight. Well, a new study reports that Americans are dying younger than people in more high-income countries. The study published by PLOS One suggests policymakers play a bigger role than we thought, finding liberal policies were associated with lower death rates of people between the ages of 25 and 64. The study also found there was a link between the quality of life and state policies like gun violence and suicide mortality. New TV ads are hitting airwaves to send an urgent message to communities at high risk of severe illness from COVID. The videos are promoting booster shots and are targeting minority audiences, as respiratory illnesses are taking center stage with winter approaching. The Advocate Channel's Chris Wynn has more.
Let's be real. I can't be at my best if my health is slacking.
New ads promoting the COVID-19 vaccine boosters are making their debut, targeting specific communities that have had a slow uptake of the updated shots.
I stay up to date so I can stay on point for the ones I love.
Black audiences are encouraged to get vaccinated in this video, which was released this week by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
No te pierdas el partido.
A Spanish-language ad targeting Latino audiences also started airing this week, with an English version scheduled for release next month during the FIFA World Cup. The TV ads will run in 15 markets across the country. Radio and print versions will run in 30 markets. HHS says messaging will also be focused on rural communities, plus Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders.
If you're relying on a vaccine you got 6 months or 9 months ago, or an infection you got a year ago to get you through this fall and winter, there's a pretty high likelihood that the new subvariants are going to escape immunity from that.
The updated booster shots are bivalent, meaning they target the original coronavirus strain as well as the Omicron BA4, BA5 subvariants.
Get vaccinated.
President Joe Biden receiving his booster Tuesday, urging those who are eligible to get on board.
Not enough people are getting it. We've got to change that so we can all have a safe and healthy holiday season.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Well, rapper Kanye West continues to lose endorsement deals as Peloton fitness company announced they will no longer play his music in their classes. West has lost a series of endorsements following his anti-Semitic comments. Along with Peloton, Vogue, Balenciaga, and Adidas, and a slew of other companies have announced they will not tolerate his comments nor do business with him anymore. CNN reports a Peloton spokesperson confirmed they were sending a message by not using his music any longer. And Apple has joined Peloton to distance themselves from West. His Essential playlist has been removed from their streaming service. Apple is just one of many that continues to cut ties with Kanye West. And reports have also surfaced that his Donda Academy has decided to close for the remainder of the school year. In an email sent to those affiliated with the school, it reads the decision was at the discretion of its founder, Kanye West. The school intends on reopening next September. Abortion awareness is making its way to the big screen in a new film featuring a group that helped women obtain safe abortions in the 1960s and 70s. The Advocate Channel's Rick Damigella has more.
Mrs. Griffin, your pregnancy is endangering your life.
Mom!
What's the treatment? To not be pregnant.
That's the only option.
Elizabeth Banks plays a woman in need of a medically necessary abortion before the Roe v. Wade decision in Call Jane. When she's denied treatment by a hospital board, she turns to the Janes.
This is Jane.
How does it work?
In our very recent past, there were a very brave collective of women who took a problem and solved that problem for nearly 12,000 women without any serious injury or any loss of life.
How are we going to get through them all? This 11-year-old girl deserves it.
Well, this lady has cancer.
She was raped. It has to be random.
It's life or death for some of them.
It's life or death for all of them.
I think she has a real political awakening when she meets Virginia and the Janes. She gets a whole sense of purpose in her life that she didn't have going into this situation.
You're going to rest for a few hours.
Which one of you is Jane?
We're all Jane. I think what the movie does, especially with Joy in Elizabeth's hands, is it moves from a political subject to a personal experience and reminds us that this is very much part of a woman's life. It can happen to anyone.
We have something that works. We are of use. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it works.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
And finally today, the Out 100 is officially here. 100 of the most influential figures in the LGBTQ+ community are being honored. Now, the list is the most unique and diverse ever put together. From members of Hollywood and social media stars, some cover stars include Ronan Rubinstein and Rafael Silva, and the old gays of TikTok. Visit out.com for the list of honorees and their powerful stories. Well, thank you so much for joining us for AC 24/7. For more content that advocates for you, go to advocatechannel.com, and you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and we'd love it if you'd subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for the Advocate Channel, I'm Rachel Smith. Have a great day.